All right, good afternoon. What I'm doing right now is putting together my wind turbine tower. I'm not going to put all the bolts in just because I'm just testing it out, trying it out. These are number 8 bolts anyway. One would probably hold it just fine, but when I'm set up in the real world, I'll put all 4 in, but for now I'm just going to put 2 in. Before I put the turbine on, I'm going to show you. And there it is. Took every bit of, I don't know, 5 minutes to do. Now, you didn't see me do this part, but under that first section, you can see there's another plate there. There's an 18-inch rod that goes right down into the ground, and that gives me stability this way. Only reason this tower is shaking a little bit is because it's basically in a receiver, you know, and those things don't get very, you know, very tight. I could get one of those metal things, which I have, to tighten up if I wanted to, but keep in mind the wind tower is designed to be portable. Okay, so I used my truck to get it set up, and Hold on a second. As I was saying, the wind turbine is, I built it to be portable, and by by utilizing these eye hooks, and these two plates all on. I'll just put two on just to show you. Okay, so what I've got, leave right there, is I've got 4 cable stays, 25-foot long, complete with, you know, with hooks, and you hook those onto here. And now remember, there's 4 points. Okay, so while it's down on the ground, you would attach, you know, your plates. You'd attach your cables, and then you would attach your wind turbine, which is what I'm going to do right now. All right. I don't need those right now. Here she is. This is the wind turbine. I got it from Missouri Wind and Solar. It's a PMG. It's the Freedom line of wind turbines that they have. just carry it over there. Hello. Let's see if we can see that sucker. If I get out of the way, maybe. Okay. So, you see how I've attached it to the end there. And it's laying down. Okay. Now, let's see if we come back this way, maybe. Shit, I can't see. And if I can't see, I don't know if you can see or not either. But anyway, surely you've got to be able to see that. But anyway, so I got to take this nut off. Okay. That's the stay nut. And there's 3. It's so damn bright out here. Welcome to Florida, huh? I think maybe. Oh yeah, okay. If I can get this sucker to stay on the pipe, we might be okay. Yeah, okay. We can see that. All right. So I'm gonna take these off. So it's three screws and 3 washers. We'll set those right there. Okay. It's probably impossible for you to see it, but there's a keyway on there, and I would have thought there would have been a keyway, on the nut. I'm sorry, on the. Of course, the phone's in the way. Probably would help if I stuck it on right. Something. I don't know if you can see it or not. Well, I'm not going to be. Let me get this thing off this tripod. Hold on. As I was saying, I'm not gonna be, hooking up the wind turbine today. But. You see, that goes on there, and then those 3, oh, I forgot to take the washers out and put them on. Oh well. Okay, so there it is. If I lift that up in the air right now and it starts to get breezy, I got no way to stop it. So, and it'd be too dangerous for me to, to hoist it back down with it spinning. So, so I'm not going to bother doing that right now. But let me show you some more stuff. This right here is my. Maybe you can see it. I don't know. All right, that's my antenna mount. that's my antenna mount, and I'm not gonna take it out of the package, but it's got so I got some U-bolts, and this attaches right to the aluminum bar. Okay, just like that. And here's my cable, and I've got a spinner so that when it's up there, it'll spin around. And this, yeah, I'll tell you what, let me mount it and I'll show you. I can't see hardly anything with that daggone sun. Okay, well, let me flip it around. Okay, so you see how the antenna mount pretty much comes straight back off the fins. All right, goes back 18 inches and then goes up 40 inches, and at the top of that's where I attach my my antenna and the cable. I just cable tie it to that, and then up here, and it goes down through here as well, right along with my power cable. And so there you have it. And I can lift it by myself, you know, up into the up position. I've done it once already, but as many of you know, I do have a winch here, and I've got some extra sections of pipe. I think we'll stand on the other side. There we go. And I've got some extra sections of pipe. I'm thinking about creating. All I need is about, I don't know, from that point there, I could probably I could weld something right to my pinto hitch where I could stick the, you know, a pipe down, run a screw through it, and with a pulley at the top of it, and just hook my winch to it, bring the cable, take it straight on over there, and then my pipe right here, attach the cable to it, lift the cable and the pipe up, stick it on and bolt it through, push a button, and watch my wind turbine go up in the air. So, you know, it's a work in progress. It's not totally complete yet, but it does function, it does work. I did have it up once. So there you have it. That's the Missouri Wind and Solar Freedom PMG wind turbine, 1600 watts. And it's gonna be amazing to see it, you know, see it function. I'm charging my batteries, so that's what it's all about. Now, something like this, you know, you don't set this up for an overnight camping trip, okay? Gina and I plan on, you know, going out, you know, into some remote areas, you know, and pitching a tent, you know, and staying there for 3 to 4 weeks. So, you know, and there's going to be no power. So, you know, for those 3 or 4 weeks, I will set up the wind turbine, you know, and have it going the whole time we're there. So, anyway, I'll tear this down. And one of the other reasons I tore it down, because I want to see how I'm going to store it and where I'm going to store it in my utility room. You may have noticed, I'm not going to walk over in the sun because you can't see anyway, or maybe you can. The the turbine blades, you know, that's not something you want to, you know, take them off and put them back on every time. So my plan is to leave them, you know, attached to their I don't know what you call that, mounting plate, and then I've got that wall in my utility room that I plan on building like a shadow box, and I can set it, you know, right inside there. It'll be nice and protected, and you know, with doors. And then when I need to get to it, you know, whatever I've got in front of it, just move out of the way and get to my wind turbine blades. And then the turbine itself will be assembled as you saw it, and in the utility room will be a mount for it that I'll literally bolt it to one of these plates. I've got some extra plates there. You see that one on the ground? And then I'll just basically bolt it right to, you know, to its perch, if you will. So it is assembled completely. So I got to put the blades on, I got to put my antenna on, and put my wire on, and that's it, and I'm done. Now I had it out here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Okay, this is the wire that I bought. It's a 10-3 you know, extension cord that I'll be modifying to you know, to allow for me to hook up my wind turbine. You may have noticed that in several of these there's some slots. Let's see where they at. Boom, boom, boom. Here's one. Okay, I don't know if you can see that slot or not. Well, it's right there. It's no big deal. Probably see it better through here. Hell no, can't see nothing. Yeah, there it is. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but it's there at the bottom. You can see the light. So I have different points that I can run the cable in and out of. So there'll be a I'm trying to decide on some sort of a permanent box right here, so that you know, I can run my cable up on the outside of the pipe, and you know, basically the wire that's in this section of pipe that goes to the turbine, it'll just always be there, and it'll be hooked, you know, hooked up, you know, to the wires, and be ready to go. When I take the turbine off of that section, you know, the wires will just pull through. I don't know, I gotta figure it all out, but you get the idea. So all right, let me tear this thing down, and I'll be back. Oh, and one more thing. I made this wedge because, you know, your truck will never, I mean, I can't say never, but I mean, as far as it being level all the time or even close, you know, is hit or miss. So you want your pole to be as straight as possible. So of course you can see how unlevel my truck is where it's parked right now. I don't know, I'd say it's a good couple of inches. So I made this out of the tubing there. It's like a wedge, and it's rounded, okay, so that it can fit around the pipe and slide right down in there. And then as you, here, I'll demonstrate. Let's say I needed to go, you know, even further. I don't know if you can see it sliding down or not, but what it's doing, I mean, you could theoretically, you could level this doggone you know, pipe just by putting a level on top, and you could probably get it pretty level. But that's what this thing does. That's my leveling wedge, I call it, and it gets you where you want to be. Pretty cool, huh? All right. So basically, what I'm doing right now is I'm taking the U-bolt off. So if you can imagine my tower set up and completely secure with the cable stays. All I got to do is take these two bolts off. Of course, they're very fine threads, so it takes forever, and they're sort of long. I need to take them to my buddy and ask him to cut off about half. Yeah. As soon as I do that, then I'll need it to be longer. I don't know. We'll see. would that take? 30 seconds. Okay. Grab your washers. Okay. So again, let's assume the tower is up. You got your cables down in all 4 points. You've taken that off. As soon as you pull that U-bolt off, and that sucker's not going anywhere. And then you can you can back your truck up off of it. Now, you didn't see me do this earlier, but okay. Alright. There's a spike. There's a spike in the end of it. And that goes down into the ground. And for me, it serves a couple of purposes. It gives me a good earth ground, and it keeps that pole from moving. With that down in the ground like that, it won't move. It ain't going nowhere. So, pretty cool stuff. And the other thing you'll need is a nice little organizer, a nut and bolt organizer. I have enough bolts plus a couple of extra for every hole in the system. And again, when I hook it up, for a length of time, I'm gonna say probably nothing less than a week, a week to 10 days. Anything more than that, and I would definitely hook it up, assuming I'm not I don't have any shore power. Okay. So you've got enough nuts and bolts to so what I started to say was I've got enough nuts and bolts for every connection on the tower when it's up for good. The cost of the tower, I mean the wind turbine, everything like that, very expensive stuff, and these nuts and bolts are $1 or $2, so you gotta use them. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so there's my tower pieces, my bottom spike, my cable stay plates, my cables, and my box of all the hardware necessary. My wind turbine and my wind turbine blades. Okay, so at some point this weekend I'm going to figure out where I'm going to mount that sucker into my utility room. I'm thinking that back wall right there where I've got those pictures hanging should be big enough. It's up high, out of the way. It'll be a one whole piece. Okay, here's my charge controller. I'm bringing in 14.3 amps, 192 watts. Got a info. Solar's 13.8, 192 watts, 13.7, 13.8. Turbine 0, solar 13.8 and 14.1 amps, solar 191 watts. Okay. I have the first part of my solar aspects. And yesterday they come through. Got them wired in. I've got my going into a nice breaker. And then it comes out of there and goes into the control box. Then it comes out of the control box and goes into my batteries. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. I'm gonna do a little research. I may even call the company and see if maybe running my wire straight from the controller to the batteries is a better idea than running it to a whatever, a bus bar. So we'll see. But we're fully charged. Fully charged. So I'm gonna leave the solar panels, because I want to see what they do when it gets dark. But that's pretty much it for the day, guys. I've been out here in the sun all day, and it's hot, and I want to go relax, put together this video and upload it, and come back out and clean up a little bit later when the sun goes down a little bit. Yeah, that's what Florida's all about: sunshine and warm air, for sure. So aside from the solar stuff I did today, I didn't do anything else. So that was pretty much it. So I just gotta clean up all this stuff, and I'll be back tomorrow. Have a good night.